All right, everybody, what's going on? So I'm sure you guys saw that video. I don't know who this guy is, but he's talking about his advice to young people is to just simply get out of the house so they don't stunt their growth. Now, you'll notice that this guy at the end, he mentioned, he thinks this way because of what he's seen on the Dave Ramsey show. And Dave Ramsey is an old boomer who built all of his wealth in a time of economic prosperity, in a time of economic abundance. And I've talked about this on other videos. And that's why I'm just back here talking about it again. You guys have to be careful. And even, I wouldn't even say be careful. I would say you have to outright reject any kind of advice that the boomers give you. All of their advice is wrong on everything. The boomers are the overwhelming reason why we're in such a fucked up situation. And I don't know if Dave Ramsey's actually a boomer. He might actually be an older Gen X. Not too sure. The point of the matter is you have to be very, very careful listening to these idiots. They are completely out of touch with reality. They are completely out of touch with the world that we live in. These people are still preaching a message of, oh, just work harder. Just go out there and do some overtime. Just get out there and struggle and learn some things. They're not understanding that you are living in a world that is absolutely cooked. If you are, first of all, if you're a parent and you're like in your mid 40s, 50s or something like that, and you got kids that are in their early 20s, mid 20s, don't be a shithead and kick your kids out. Don't do that. Don't force your kids out because the world is cooked. You just don't get it. You think your kids are being lazy. Your kids aren't being lazy. They're like, you're pushing them into a goddamn void. There's nothing out here. And if you're a young person, Gen Z, whatever, and your parents are pushing you to get out, do what you can to get along with your parents and maintain that relationship, and do not leave that house. There is nothing out here. You are fighting against AI. You are fighting against an absolutely collapsing economic situation. The economy is dead. It's dying. It's absolutely cooked. The only people prospering are the people who are, like the 1%, the 5%, the 10%, the top 5 to 1% of people. Everybody else is out here dying. They're getting crushed by the economy. And you got these fucking boomers and people who follow them telling you to just get out there. Now, notice this guy, he starts talking about, how this person is going to have stunted growth if they don't get out of the house. I want you to think about this. What the fuck are you growing? Where are you growing? What is this growth? If you're Gen Z, your growth was stunted back in 2020. Number one. Number two, it was stunted even before then because Gen Z was not brought up in an era of socialization and getting out there and taking risks and everything like that. They were born and raised on the internet. They were born and raised not to talk to women. They were born and raised that everything is cancel culture. Like everything can get you canceled. They were born and raised in a world of hyper political correctness and not risk taking. Don't take any risks. They're a super safe generation because everything can get you in trouble. And then there was the pandemic. So this idea of just get out there and take risks and, don't stunt your social growth. What the fuck even are you talking about? We are living in a completely different world that's not even a goddamn factor. Number one. Number two, he's talking about dating. That if a man is in, 27 to 30 and he's not out there, growing socially, he's not going to date. He's not going to marry. Well, guess what? Newsflash, dummy. Most men aren't going to date or marry anyways. Like marriages are down across the board. The birth rate is dropping everywhere on the entire planet except Africa. So unless you're living in Africa, you ain't getting no ass. You ain't getting no girlfriend, no wife. You ain't having no kids because it's cooked everywhere. So I don't know what this guy is talking about. And to add on to that big box of horseshit that this guy is trying to talk about, this idea that he's going to, that the man is going to be able to, or he's going to stunt his growth if he doesn't go out there. Thus, he'll be able to actually get the girl and get the wife and get the kid if he does, leave his mom's house. Think about the scenario that was put forth. The other guy who was talking to him was saying, okay, so what if this guy is like 27, he's in college, or he's out of college, he graduates with a master's degree, but he's got a bunch of debt, and he can potentially, just save all his money for 3 years and leave the house at 30 with no debt. And the guy is, he's talking about how, he's going to stunt his growth. You're going to have more potential to date if you are debt free, you're working a good job, and you're making good money. Like, what the fuck? How? It is insane that people are still thinking like this. And I already know this is just done for clips. It's just done for clips. These guys they're just saying things because that's their social media personality, and they have to say something that's controversial. It's polarizing one way or the other, but it's a stupid opinion. Why would you not just sit there and pay off your debt and leave the house when you're going to be actually able to stand up on your own financially? You have to have credit, decent credit, to get a goddamn apartment. You have to have money to get an apartment. First of all, the job market is cooked. So where are you getting hired? If you're already living at home, you're probably not working anywhere, or you don't have stable income, number one. Number two, like I said, you have to have the credit. You're going to be living in the fucking slums. But his solution is, just get some roommates and live really meager. Wages aren't keeping up with inflation. You go to fucking Cleveland, Ohio, and the rent is like $1,800 in Cleveland. Get the fuck out of here. These people are out of touch. You're not going to be able to date or marry if you're broke as fuck, if you're living in a shitty ass apartment. Women are they are only looking for the 1%. They are only looking for the top 20% of men, right? Socially and economically, they're looking for that top 20% of men. So this idea, just get out there and date. No, she's not going to fucking date you in the first place, stupid. Like, I'm telling you, man, you guys have to really, you guys have to really understand. All the advice you're getting from these boomers is horrible advice. It's advice that would have mattered 20 years ago, right? Back in the year 2005, this would have been great advice. But after 2015, dude, all of that is done. And these people, I said it in a previous video, old people are always the last ones to know when things have changed. They think that you can still just work hard. Hard work is not getting you anywhere. All these jobs are laying people off. All these jobs are looking for ways to replace you with AI. The women only want the top 1% of men, or the top 20% in terms of, the Pareto principle, if you know, right? They only want a certain sector of guys, right? So you need to stay at home. I would 100% encourage you guys to stay at home and stop listening to these boomers and stop listening to the people who preach their talking points. Notice that the guy who's saying this, he's not a boomer. He's not even a Gen X. He's a millennial. So you got to think, why is he so comfortable saying what he's saying? And I don't even know if he's a millennial. He might be an older Gen Z or a younger millennial. So I'm not too sure. But he's very comfortable saying this because he has a position of comfort. He has a position of privilege. Maybe his parents put him in a good position. Maybe, maybe he comes from wealth, whatever the case might be. Maybe, his social media presence is really getting it done for him. Whatever the case might be, he's in a position where he doesn't have to worry. So he can get out here and talk this shit. Let's just say, I don't actually know this guy's finances. I don't actually know, what this guy has going on. I don't know his life story. But let's just assume that he doesn't necessarily have to worry, economically. Let's say he's not in a crunch. This guy is speaking from a position of privilege. We don't know how this man gets his money. We don't know what his finances look like, but let's just assume that he's secure financially. Well, whoop-de-fucking-do, Basil. That's you. That's you. You're secure. You're set. Your social media career is taking off. Your parents put you in a great position. We know that you're doing good, but everybody ain't got it like you got it. So we can't take this stupid ass advice. And this is what the internet is full of. People who are in positions of comfort, positions of privilege, people who have made it. They already made it to safety, from an economic standpoint, and they're telling everybody else this fucking bullshit that doesn't work. This is why I keep telling you guys, stop listening to these fucking gurus. If they can't give you an absolute blueprint to success, do not listen to them. They are dangerous and they're just hustling you. This is the same shit that you heard, if you were listening, back in like 2016, 2017, 2018. If you notice, everybody is back to selling their fucking courses. Everybody is back to doing their internet guru thing. Like, this was huge back in like 2017 to like 2019. And then 2020 to 2022, maybe even 2023, that comes along and people kind of calm down on the courses. Now it's right back. Why? Because everybody's trying to fucking get another buck before the economy collapses. Now, I know this guy didn't, push a course, but most of these people are fake ass gurus. They're trying to push a course. They're trying to push a methodology or a mindset. And they're essentially just trying to bolster their social media presence because your clicks and your watching means they're going to get paid, which furthers their position of security, which furthers their ability to talk this ridiculous bullshit. So I'm not going to beat this, this dead horse anymore. Just stop. Don't be very careful listening to these people. When you see this kind of shit on social media, do not listen to it. Scroll right past this shit and understand it is fucked out here. If you are a parent, do not push your kids out into this hellstorm of bullshit. If you are a kid, make sure you stay on good terms with your parents and just work hard, keep your nose clean and save your money. Stay home until you can actually stand up on your own financially, because it is fucked out here. All right, like, share, subscribe, do the whole thing, and I'll get back at you guys on the next one. Peace.